Hi, it's Rebecca Reinking here, and we are going through what I jokingly call a very, very stubborn sound or sounds, which are our K and G sounds. And this is a really good walkthrough of our handbook, especially if you're not sure what's involved. We talk about it being comprehensive and a lot more in depth than other elicitation guides that you'll probably own already. This is going to give you all that information just so you know how it can be helpful and how it can help you feel more confident in cueing and trying to elicit those K and G sounds. Now, first off, I need you to know that this is a digital download. So this is what it looks like. It's a PDF. And I do have it on my iPad here. So you can just use it as a guide like this, and you can navigate on your iPad or on your desktop if you like. But I've printed it out because a lot of these pages you will find are very, very helpful. We have so many checklists and things that you can write on in this handbook here. So I think having a mixture of both digital and print-based materials are probably going to be the best way to support you. Basically how we've organized this, and this is what we call like a double book, I guess, because we've got K and G sounds. What we've done is chapters 1, 2, and 3 are pretty much the same across both handbooks because we talk about our introduction to eliciting sounds, K sound production, and then some phonetic cues. And so I just kind of want to put it out there that if you're not sure where to start, you can actually start at both places or trial both K and G and see if it's going to help elicit the sounds. But we have split them up because the metaphors, gestures, shaping cues, and keyword environments are different between K and G. So it's kind of like a two-in-one handbook guide here. But let's get to this introduction to eliciting sounds. This is a really helpful place to start, especially if you're thinking, no one taught me how to cue, no one taught me how many cues you're supposed to use. I don't even know like do's and don'ts of cueing. And you know, what do I do if I'm stuck and we're not getting anywhere and I've tried all your cues? I've got so many pages here that just help orient you to using cues in speech therapy with your child. And then that lends really nicely into the K sound production. I really want you to get a good understanding. This is like a really important starting chapter because we have a screener in here. We have checklists so that you can think about is there a phonological or a motor component, and you check off. So as you do the screener that we've included in here with your student, you can really start to individualize and see a pattern or see why is K or G, why are they hard for this child? And then once you have a good understanding of what it is, you can really tailor and be guided by all these different types of cues here. So our phonetic cues, we actually have split this up into 4, I guess, because you have visual, verbal, tactile, and motor kinesthetic cues. And if you're thinking, I don't even know what those are, I want you to know that in all of our chapters here, we explain what all of these cues are so that you have a really good foundation and a really good basis. We even have things that you should know and how to use them. So, you know, as an example, we have our motor kinesthetic cues here. With our verbal cues, you have all the different things that you can say to help elicit clearer K and G productions. And you're going to love that we've included little check boxes throughout this whole thing, which is why I suggested that you print it off, because you can start to check off what's successful for your student, what wasn't successful, or what you had a little bit of success in. For our metaphors chapter, as I mentioned, the metaphors are different across K and G. So there's 12 in total for each sound. So 24 metaphors that you can use. And metaphors are wonderful because it's just like a really creative and child-friendly way to explain the sound. And just to help orient and guide you as well, we have our little like how do we teach metaphors, and or you know how do you use them, and then some tips for using or choosing them. And you're going to love that we've included color cards here for you so that you can use them as cues with your student. Speaking of colour, we have included photographs in our Gestural Cues chapter. Now, Gestural Cues are hand gestures, or, just different movements, I guess, with our body that can help to facilitate these K and G sounds. So we have them all here, and we have a really good explanation of how you should use them, and little tips. So for example, like if the child doesn't do a clear production, then you might say this, or you might do this with your hands. And I love Gestural Cues because it allows the child to not only hear the sound, but to see it because you're using your hands. Our next chapter is called Shaping Cues. So this is where we take a sound that the child can already do, and we kind of turn it into our sound, which is this one. And this is really helpful because sometimes when your child knows they're going to come in and that you're going to ask them to say the k sound, and when it is hard, because it is a hard sound to elicit sometimes, I'm sure that you've seen that children, they can just get like defeated and they just don't even want to. But if you start with a sound that they can already do and you're turning it into, without them really knowing, you're kind of tricking them and turning it into a K or a G, you can really find that it facilitates what you need them to do with their tongue or with their, different articulators to help them say the sound more accurately. And then our last chapter is called Keyword Environments. So it's a little bit similar to shaping in the way that we are trying to find words that facilitate or encourage a correct K and G. And it's like, our best bets, like, I bet, this is going to be easier for the child. And we have a lot of checklists in here and a lot of pages. And it's because there's a lot of different words that can help to facilitate these clearer productions. And we really go through the tips in here, and we talk about the tongue and we talk about vowels, and you'll understand why as we go through the chapters. As an example, you might trial low vowels. We have all the words here that you can use. We might trial K after N, because your tongue can elevate, the back of your tongue can elevate just due to co-articulation, transitioning between N and K. So there's all these little things that you probably thought, I never thought of that. And it also, I guess, breaks that myth that you have to start in isolation. You don't have to start in isolation to elicit a K and a G. Oftentimes you'll find that there are some really amazing words that can help facilitate it, and you can start from a place of success and get into therapy a lot sooner. So I hope that this has given you a really good understanding. The handbook, it's about 70 pages for each of the handbooks, so about 140 pages altogether. And I just want to emphasize that we have adjusted the price for this handbook because, there are some chapters that are similar and the information is similar across the two handbooks, but we do have a whole lot of individualized content between K and G. So make sure you check out the other handbooks. They all follow this same format, and I really hope that it just gives you a lot more tools and tricks and tips in your elicitation toolkit.